Come on, Lisa, get in the water. The water's too cold, Jake. You'll be fine. Come on. Jake, what's that behind you? Don't worry, probably just some crocodiles. Jake, I'm serious. There's something behind you. It's a young man. His phone was also found in the lake. James? James Wilson. After his parents passed away, he grew up in Valley Hills with his Uncle Roger and Aunt Tabitha. He completed his studies in this small town and, about 6 years ago, left for the city to build a career for himself. Though struggling at first, James climbed his way up and had been quite successful, working as a marketing analyst at a big corporate company. And finally, after many long years, James had recently returned back to his hometown for a small trip, visiting family and hoping to catch up with some old friends. James, my boy. Uncle Roger. Is James here? Oh, look at you. You haven't been taking care of yourself, have you? I'm fine, Aunt Tabitha. Wow, nice car. Lydia? Someone grew up. Well, what were you expecting? I'd still be 12 after 6 years? How have you been? Now we can chit-chat later, can't we? You must be starving. I made all your favorites. James had gotten a warm welcome from his family, and the first couple of days went by relaxing and being pampered. There's a carnival being held by the river. Wanna go? Sure. It was one of these evenings. James and Lydia went to the local fair to have a little fun. James was having a good time enjoying the nostalgia. But in all this, he suddenly noticed someone familiar. Vivian and Timothy? Oh, yeah, they got engaged recently. I heard they're gonna get married the next apple harvest. She's getting married? To him? It was years ago, but James somehow remembered the memories like it was yesterday. He and Vivian were high school sweethearts, and they dated all throughout college. In fact, everyone in town knew about them. They were madly in love. Vivian was everything to him. But it was before James left for the city. They broke up. Vivian, I got that job opportunity in Topeka. I'm leaving. That's great news. I'm so happy for you. But you're not gonna forget me, are you? You have to write to me at least once every week. Vivian, What? Is everything all right? Vivian, this isn't gonna work. I want to reach somewhere in my life, build a future for myself. I have to focus. What are you trying to say? Are you breaking up with me? I can't do this, Vivian. No, James. We'll work something out. You know these long-distance relationships don't work. We're only gonna get hurt. It's better to end things now. No, James. Don't do this. I'm sorry, Vivian. I have to. I'll wait for you. James wanted to focus on his future and his career, and as long as Vivian was part of his life, he wouldn't be able to do that. So he broke up with her. After moving to the city, he tried to forget her and even dated some women. But deep down inside, he could never really get over her. And he thought Vivian wouldn't move on either. In fact, before returning to Valley Hills, he was hoping and wishing they would meet again, and perhaps something would happen. But now, seeing her with Timothy, James was shocked. As he stared at them, Vivian suddenly turned and met his gaze. She seemed surprised, but smiled and waved at him. James walked up to them. Vivian, Tim, hey. Hi. James, back in town, how are you? I'm good. You guys? Doing well. Oh, it's 7. Sorry, man, but I have some errands to run at the farm. Maybe we can catch up some other time? Vivian, do you want me to drop you off? I think I'll stay a bit longer. As Timothy left, Lydia awkwardly scratched her head. I'm gonna go get some cotton candy. Before she hurried off, leaving James and Vivian to themselves. James, how have you been? Fine. So, you and Tim, huh? Vivian gave James a look. What about me and Tim? You're with him now? Or you always used to like him? No, you don't get to say that, James. I wanted to wait for you, but you left me. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry? That's it? Good one. Can we talk somewhere else? Maybe by the cliffside? No, I can't do that. Meet me there tomorrow at 7. I'll be waiting for you. Don't, James. I gotta go. Bye. So what happened? Nothing. The next evening, James headed on his way to the cliffside. Back in the days, this was where he and Vivian used to come all the time. Sit and watch the sunset together. But would she come today? James smiled, hearing footsteps behind him. I knew you would come. Say what you have to say. I can't stay for long. Vivian, I know sorry isn't enough. I know I hurt you, and I don't blame you for moving on, but I just wanted to let you know. I never stopped loving you. I tried moving on, but even after all these years, I just can't forget what we had. What made you think I moved on? Looking into Vivian's eyes, James saw that same love, that same affection. After many long years apart, Vivian and James opened up to each other, sharing their feelings, being together just like the old days. Vivian, come with me to the city. We can leave everything behind and start over. It's not that easy, James. How am I going to face my family? How am I going to face Tim? We're getting married. How can you marry someone you don't love? Vivian, we don't need anyone. We can start a new life together. I need some time to think. There's nothing to think. We love each other. That's all that matters. I don't know, James. James took Vivian's phone and saved his number. It's simple, Vivian. If you love me, you'll be with me. Meet me here tomorrow night. We'll leave this town forever. That night was one of the longest nights for James. He couldn't stop thinking about Vivian. He couldn't wait to see her again. He spent the next day anxiously checking his phone, waiting for her reply. And it was finally late in the evening, he got a message. James smiled, seeing Vivian's name on the screen. I'm sorry, James. I can't do this to Timothy. He truly loves me. I can't hurt him. Staring at the message, James felt like the ground was crumbling away from beneath him. But he knew the only person he could blame was himself for losing her. James? What is he doing out in the rain? Did something happen? He's been a little down. I don't know. Is everything alright with you? You've been out here for a couple hours now. Yeah, I'm fine. It was later that night, around 10, James suddenly got another message. He hopelessly checked his phone when he was surprised to see it was from Vivian. Meet me by the cliffside. I'm ready. I have to go. Where? What is up with him? Vivian. As Sheriff Cavill inspected the body, he suddenly heard footsteps rushing down the shore. He turned to see Vivian. No, James. Get a hold of yourself, Vivian. I didn't know he would do this. As soon as Vivian and Timothy had gotten news, they both hurried to the riverside. Vivian broke down seeing James's lifeless body. Tim, I didn't know. Vivian, don't cry. It wasn't your fault. Seeing Vivian break down, Timothy consoled her, as he always had. Since their childhood, Timothy and Vivian have been good friends. In fact, Timothy had always been in love with her. But back in those days, being a shy and quiet person, he could never open up to her. But being so close, he thought perhaps one day he and Vivian would be together. But things took a turn when they got introduced to James. James was confident, smart, and full of life, and it was almost in an instant Vivian became attracted to him. They fell in love and eventually got together. And suddenly, Timothy became the third wheel, distant from Vivian. He was jealous seeing them together, but at the time, he didn't know what to do. And when years went by like this, Timothy was hopeless. But then, it was one day, he found out Vivian and James had broken up. James had left her to go to the city. And in that vulnerable time for Vivian, Timothy finally got his second chance with her. He stood by her and consoled her. And down the line, they got into a relationship. Timothy and Vivian were happy together. Everything was going fine, and they were soon planning to get married. But after all these years, when James returned to Valley Hills, Timothy anxiously feared he would take Vivian away from him again. The day after Vivian had met James, Timothy noticed she had been behaving strange. She was lost in her thoughts, and he suspected the worst. The following evening, when Vivian left the house, Timothy followed her and saw her with James. He was devastated seeing everything that happened between them. He realized Vivian was still very much in love with him, and he suspected she would run away with him. He felt so betrayed and heartbroken, but he didn't say anything to her. He just quietly waited and watched. "I'm sorry, James. I can't do this to Timothy. He truly loves me. I can't hurt him." But the next day, when Vivian rejected James, Timothy softened up for her, realizing she was loyal to him. But he knew things couldn't end like this. So that night, he sent a message to James from Vivian's phone. "Meet me by the cliffside. I'm ready." James hurried to the cliffside to meet Vivian. But there, he was surprised to see someone else. "Vivian? Tim?" "Yes, Tim. What did you think? Vivian would come? Run away with you?" "She doesn't love you anymore, James. She loves me." James was quiet. He got himself together and said, "All right, it's her choice. If she doesn't love me, and if she loves you, then I'll leave from your lives." "No, you won't. You'll never go. As long as you live, she'll remember you. And I can't let that happen." "What?" Now no one can take Vivian from me again. It was all because of me, Tim. It was all because of me. Don't blame yourself, Vivian. It's gonna be all right.
Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.